With this lesson, I'd like to show you how to apply a slideshow widget and then set up a basic slideshow here in Muse. I currently have the Metro Cafe project file 9 open here in plan mode. This is a project file that's available to you in your web page contents folder inside of your project files. All right, now I want to focus on the home page here in plan mode. You'll notice that looking at the thumbnail, we have a nice big hole here on the page. And I left that hole there on purpose so that we could fill it up with a slideshow widget. So I'm going to go ahead and double click the home page here in plan mode, and that opens up the page inside of design mode. We'll scroll down a little bit so we can access this area here above the text where I want to place the slideshow widget. All right, now whenever you're working with widgets, you have to refer to the widgets library panel, which I already have open over here down at the bottom of my toolbar. You can see here we have a little preview window, and then we have all of these different items listed underneath with a toggle arrow next to each one. And the ones that we're going to focus on here are compositions and slideshows. All right, you already know what slideshows are, but with compositions, you've got kind of a slideshow combined with some text into a different type of layout format. And that's what's going on here, with the exception of blank, which is pretty much just a slideshow. We've got featured news, which is great for creating news sites, lightbox display, presentation for maybe a more advanced type of slideshow, and tooltip. And all of these, from news on down, they all include some sort of text that sort of accompanies the photographs. All right, but what I want to work with are these more basic slideshows down here. In here, we've got a basic slideshow, blank, lightbox, and thumbnails. And the one I want to work with here is thumbnails. So to add this widget, this pre-built slideshow, onto our page, we just need to click on it in the widgets library panel and then drag it onto our page at approximately where we would like it positioned. Somewhere around there. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now keep in mind, this is a pre-built widget, so it has some sample photos in it, and it doesn't mean that you have to use those photos in your slideshow. Okay, they're just there for placement only so that you can get an idea of where the thumbnail images are positioned and how large they are and how large the hero image is, so you can get a feel for what this slideshow is ultimately going to look like. Now keep in mind, you can totally edit these slideshows. Your slideshow does not have to look like everyone else's slideshow who uses Adobe Muse. You can customize these slideshows. All right, so I'm not going to show you everything that you can do to customize a slideshow in this particular lesson. I'm just going to do enough to get you started. All right, and the next step would be to add your own images to the slideshow. So these widgets come with their own options. And if you click on the blue icon in the upper right corner of the slideshow when you have it selected, you get a flyout list. All of these available options. Different widgets contain different options. For slideshows, these are mostly the same. Depending on what you got going on here, certain things will be turned on and certain things will be turned off. All right, but the first thing we want to focus on is adding images up at the top of the options dialog box. We'll go ahead and click that folder icon. That allows us to go in our system, browse to it, and here I am in the web page content folder. There's a folder in there named Slideshow Pics. I'm going to click on the first one and then hold down Shift and click on the last one in the whole list here. Now I have them all selected, so I want all of these photographs to import into the slideshow. All I need to do is click the Open button, and Muse adds them to this slideshow format. Okay, notice that it added them, but it also kept those example photographs that were there of the flower and the black and white images, and we don't want to keep those. We want to get rid of those. So the next step would be to select the thumbnail for that image. If you click once, it's going to display the image. If you click again, you'll actually have the thumbnail frame selected here in the slideshow. Now if I press delete, it goes away. All right, same thing. Let's go ahead and click once to select the slideshow, twice to select the image, 3 times we have the frame for the thumbnail, delete. All right, delete key. We'll get rid of those. All right, so now we have a basic slideshow set up in here. I'm going to click once again to select the entire slideshow, go to our options. I want to show you these are your options, your basic options. I'm not going to go through every one, but I'm going to focus on the transition It's set to fade. We also have a horizontal or vertical option. Okay, when it's transitioning from image to image here, the large image is the one that's going to transition. We also have autoplay enabled by default, which means that as soon as a viewer goes to this web page, it's going to start playing automatically, and it's going to use this amount of time for each frame, okay, for each image. So it's set to 3 seconds. I think that looks good for now. If you want to increase it, you can always click these up and down arrows to change that value. All right, for now, I'm just going to stick with 3. It goes in half increments, which is kind of nice. All right, so 3 seconds. We're going to autoplay. I'm not going to mess with any other of these options for right now. All we're going to do is preview this. I'm going to click the preview button at the top in order to view this now in preview mode inside of Adobe Muse. All right, and here is our slideshow. As you can see, there are our thumbnails. It's taking 3 seconds to show the image, then transitioning to the next one. So everything is behaving the way we expect it to here in Adobe Muse. All right, so what we learned in this lesson is in order to create a slideshow, a basic slideshow, you can go into your widgets library panel, choose a slideshow or a composition widget, select it, drag it onto the page, position it wherever you would like it on your page. Next thing you want to do is add your own images. So you'll want to access your slideshow options. In the options at the top, there's an Add Image button. Click the Add Images button. You can then browse in your system for the images that you'd like to bring into your slideshow. Select them all, click Open. Muse brings them all into the slideshow. You can then choose your options, things like autoplay and the effect, whether you're going to use the fade transition or you can use horizontal or vertical. You can also choose a time frame for each individual slide. Okay, it's by default, this particular slideshow widget is set to 3 seconds, but you can change that to a larger value or a smaller value, depending on how long you want people to focus on the images as we're auto playing the slideshow.